Tonight's edition of the big, fantastic show. And as usual, I have the man himself, Mr. Fantastic. Welcome.
Big Mike.
Excellent. Now, last time we spoke about perspective.
Leadership perspective.
Leadership perspective. And tonight I'd like to speak about perception and two very different things. Perception, when I say the word perception to you, what comes to mind?
Well, honestly, if I think of perception, the first thing I think is, what do I think of people and their abilities? That's
Right.
just like a broad overview for me. So,
Okay, yeah, no, good. So if you will entertain me, I want to just entertain you with a story.
absolutely.
So we have this executive, right? She's bound for a business meeting. She's late as it is. She's rushing. She gets to the airport, and of course, she's late. She misses the flight. Frustrated. She makes peace with it. She goes to the coffee shop. She gets herself a cup of coffee, a packet of biscuits, 5 ginger biscuits in a packet, and that's a meal for the day as she waits for the next flight. She sits down in the airport lounge, and she gets engrossed in the book. You're liking the story so far?
Already.
So then, as she gets into a book, she reaches out to the package. She opens up the package. She takes her first biscuit. Lovely biscuits. Those airport biscuits are good, by the way.
Especially the one at Cape Town Airport.
Yes. So then she then, to her horror, the gentleman opposite her takes the second biscuit, and obviously she's taken aback on this, but she makes peace with it and she kind of settles, and then she goes for the third biscuit. And by Joe, this guy takes the fourth biscuit. Now, if it was me, I'd behave, of course, but I know if it was you, it'd be a different story. It'd be a big riot, wouldn't there?
No, not really. I would have actually offered more, but let's just keep on listening to your story.
All right, so to her surprise, the guy reaches out for the fifth biscuit, and he offers it to her.
Offering her own biscuits back to her.
He offers the fifth biscuit. She takes it. She grabs a bag. She rushes off to the gate to board the plane that's waiting for her. She doesn't want to miss that. She reaches into her pocket for her boarding pass, and she pulls out a packet of biscuits. Her own biscuits.
Her own. Oh my word!
So
That was never her biscuits to start with on the table.
absolutely not. So imagine her perception, and imagine his perception.
Oh my word! Poor man. Yo, can you believe that? Sure, that's quite a good story.
So perception is very important. I think that when we're dealing with people, that we allow ourselves to have the right perception of that circumstances, the individual, because any preconceived idea of a situation or the individual, even having your own agenda, is very counterproductive to any given circumstance.
Absolutely. What it causes, it basically clouds the water. It murks the water. You cannot have decision-making abilities that is open and clear, decisive, and the best to the interest of the individual as well as the company, because you have this perception and this agenda you're driving, which could be counterintuitive to the final objective.
No, absolutely, and it's all of our responsibilities, whether you're in a management position or leadership position. I think we all have to be very sensitive to the circumstances and the situation, and we have to be very aware of our own prejudice as well.
Yeah.
So
that is something very difficult. Sorry to come
yes,
in.
No problem.
Big Mike, but to put your own prejudice aside every time you have a discussion or a situation or your own way of thinking, there's nothing wrong with being creative.
Yeah.
But if it borders on being destructive to get your point across or drive your objective, it is totally unacceptable.
Yeah, so look, there's lots to say on this topic as usual. I think the important, if I can offer maybe maybe 3 or 4 steps in this process is to really stand back and take a bird's eye view. Take an overview of the current circumstance that you find yourself in. That would be the first thing.
Now, is there any time limit to that? Or does it have to take you 10 seconds? Or what, how does that, in the situation, how much time are you talking about?
You know, that's a very good question, by the way. As much time as it takes, as much time as it needs, because you know, as soon as you put a time limit to it, automatically you're saying, listen, I'm only prepared to entertain this for an X amount of minutes, let's say, and then automatically you start shutting down those sort of communication channels. In fact, you're putting barriers there. You're putting the person under pressure to respond within a certain period, and you can't really. It doesn't make for very valuable and discussions and engaging discussions, because
it could be detrimental to the whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could even come back the next day even.
You can come back whenever, schedule the time, make sure that you're making the necessary time available, because it just shows that I care. I'm interested in your circumstances.
Yeah.
I want to be part of the solution. You know, so
it shows a lot of intent, isn't it?
Shows intent.
By just allowing yourself a space and time.
Intent, yes, intent, absolutely. And intention is very important. Intention goes hand in hand with being sincere. So if you intentionally want to resolve the situation and be part of the solution, you need to be sincere. So I mean, those are the main things. Is open up, be open to the situation, set aside any prejudice, very important. Be part of the process.
Sorry.
Yes.
You're saying set aside any prejudice. And I love this I love this discussion. Because this is something happening daily between you and your wife. Not your wife, but I mean, you watching and your wife, you and your colleagues, you and your managers.
One of my wife.
No, you got to love your wife. So, this is a daily thing that people in the traffic. Can you imagine somebody honking at you behind you, not understanding from your perspective that somebody walked in front of your car? They think you're driving like an idiot. You know, it's every single day. So if you set aside any perceived perceptions as part of the discussion, I want to just come back to your great story in the beginning. That poor man sitting on the other side, true gentleman that he was in the story, but his perception of that lady is she must be totally uncultured, unmannered, rude, just out of there. But yet, he took the time to stand back and put his own perceptions aside and allow her, even offering her the last cookie.
Well, you know, that's your perception of his perception, by the way. So,
yeah.
So you could have had a very different perception.
But he handled it well.
No, handled it well. Like a gentleman. True gentleman and scholar, by the way. So if we can round this up, like as I said, we've opened up the, understand, step back, look at the scope of the situation, discount all prejudice, and also be part of the solution. If there's any agreement, communication, intention expressed that we as people, as leaders, as managers, that we are accountable for those commitments and expectations that we make to each other, and we bring that and deliver on what we have agreed to. For this sort of discussion and facilitation on how do we move from perception to be better leaders and be obviously leaders that can make better decisions, please contact us, Mr. Fantastic, Big Mike, on the details on your screen below. We'd be happy to oblige and accommodate and facilitate a session with you in terms of this sort of perspective. Please give us a shout. Have a good evening.